Hi, I'm Scott, and I was, I guess, a former Marine for 20 years, and now I'm a Zen monk. For me, being a monk is somebody who has chosen to pursue a path of learning the truth about themselves. In my military career, I was a flight engineer and aircraft mechanic. You know, when I was about 25 years old, my youngest child, my son, he was 4 months old, he died. He died quietly in his sleep, and my wife and I, unable to really deal with that, we separated and split up, and she moved across the country with my daughter about a year later. And I found myself in a spot where my marriage was over. I'd lost both my children, and it started me searching. And that set me on a path where I did a lot of looking in different places, some good and some bad and some better. I got into meditation at some point, and I didn't know what meditation was at that point. We didn't have the internet back then. It's about 25 years ago. And I was deep into something, and I realized that nothing had happened to me. What had happened was to this character called Scott living life. The person, me, was the person that existed before my mother met my father. The main thing that supports the military mindset is that there's this idea of separation, that you are different than me, that your country is different than my country. And as a Zen monk, what we're realizing is that we're all the same. There is no separation. Along this way, as preparing for life after the military, I went to grad school and studied finance, and I was ready to take on the world and move into banking or corporate finance, or I ended up as a commodity broker and a commodity trader. What I found there was a business without a soul. I was really surprised at what money did to people. The fear of not having enough money, or the fear of losing what you have drives people into doing some really, I guess they're things that I'd rather not be involved with. That's when I decided to leave the corporate world and take the vows and become a monk, and then see where this takes me. Sunshine. A little bit of sunshine for you. What's he doing, Gabby-chan? What's he doing? There are, of course, monks that live in monasteries, and there are monks like me that do not live in a monastery, but we continue to live our lives with our families or work and pursue the path that way. There's another monk that lives in this area also, and I met him and his wife and their 2 kids. And his family owns a temple, so he's, 3rd or 4th generation, and sometimes he's dressed like this, and you'd never know. And then, but his day-to-day routine is he's at his temple in Hachioji. You want to kick the ball? You want to swing? Okay. Let's go slide. For my immediate family, my sisters and my father, the decision to become a monk, they didn't really say too much. They knew I've been involved with this for quite a while, and of course they had some questions. Was I going to go live in a mountain, or on top of a mountain by myself, or in a cave or something? But I don't know if it's still the president of Japan Airlines, but he was a president at one time when they were going through their bankruptcy, and he's an ordained monk. And so there are plenty of people that continue their business life and are ordained as monks. There's no rules that prohibit you from doing that. I think it'd be kind of nice if politicians around the planet would do a little more zazen. I get up a little bit before 5, and I sit from 5 until 6:30 in the morning at my house. In the wintertime, in the afternoon, I go to do takahatsu. Takahatsu is really another form of zazen, so we're chanting the Heart Sutra which is Hanyu Shingyo. People ask me what the purpose of Takahatsu is. They think the purpose is to receive money, to receive donations. And really, Takahatsu is just Takahatsu. No reason at all. Why people donate to monks, I don't really know. But we don't do it for any reason at all. When I do Takahatsu, of course I'm taller than the average monk that's doing Takahatsu, and people do look up and they see a Western face. It shocks them a bit. And Jin-san told me when I start this, he said, always go to the same place. So there's only one station I go to, and there are only two different places. And people have become familiar with me now, but at first it was quite entertaining to see their face. Maybe even to the point where some people would approach me and then they'd turn away. Once a week I come to the temple with Jin-san. Once a week we go to another temple for zazen for a couple hours on Saturday or Sunday. To me, I just found the right person to talk to. Just the right kind of sarcasm, the right kind of pushiness, the right kind of everything to keep me really...
The right person.
The right kind of everything. I tell people, you can sit and that will make you a better Christian. You can sit and that will make you better anything that you do. If you're a tennis player and you want to be a better tennis player, sitting will help you do that because it slows down the mind and allows you to get out of the future and out of the past and into that particular moment. We overemphasize the need for intellectual knowledge, the study of facts, the study of data, the study of technique or philosophy, and that's going to deliver us some sort of relief from our stress, relief from the pressures of our lives. No amount of intellectual knowledge is going to satisfy the need for experience. We tend to think in the future, we tend to think in the past. We spend very little time living in this particular moment. If you've ever been a teenager yourself or you've had a teenager as a child, you can sit down with them and explain in great detail about sex, but that's not going to satisfy their need for the experiential knowledge of sex. Whatever comes up in your mind, just let it go. My time in the Marine Corps was interesting. I was very much a control freak, had to have everything my way. That part of me doesn't even seem to exist anymore. Why we think our thoughts are good or bad, that's what creates the problem, the suffering. So if you just allow them to come up and allow them to go away, it becomes quite peaceful. I want more money, I want a better house, I want a better career, I want happier relationships. I immediately bring in judgment into my own mind as whether I'm doing it right, whether this is it working fast enough. So it's the same mind-based repetition. To do mindfulness, just do it. That's all you have to do. And whatever comes up, and whatever happens next time, happens next time. But there's no agenda when you sit down to practice.
People just try to just create a peaceful world or a peaceful universe. But ourself is very much peaceful, basically or fundamental. So that if we can just realize who we are, so we don't need to do it. This is amazing.
There's only one lesson, there's only one question, there's only one answer. And we ask it a number of ways. And as our ego sits on the cushion with us and our ego studies and our ego evolves, it gets to ask the question in a much more elegant way. But really, we're only trying to find out the truth of who we are. And the answer is that we're everything and nothing at the same time.